We are live! Sorry, I nicked that from another friend of mine, Mr. Desi Vapor. I'm sitting here with Mr. Danger Gerbil.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hang on. There we go. There he is. He's a tiny circle right now.
Ah, I'm a tiny circle, am I?
Yeah, but the issue with Mr. Danger Gerbil at the moment is his little pixels couldn't quite fit into my computer properly, so...
No.
So... Yes, unfortunately. So tonight we are going to be reading out some creepypastas live here. I'm just making sure that everything is muted because otherwise it is buggered. So let's see. Right, we are, yeah. I'm just double checking everything's live and working out okay. Right. Yes, you are, Tiny Circle. No, that was the other you. That was screen you. Right.
Eh? What? You've confused me already, and we've only just started.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. That's just one of those things, you see, things that happen. So you're keeping an eye on the Google Plus page, aren't you?
Yep.
For the comments, and I'll keep my eye on the, page? Thingy. YouTube. That's the one. Anyway, the first story we guys, fuck's sake, we are going to be reading is Playing with a Wolf. The story is A Little Red Riding Hood Type 1 and has been written by Zarathustra. How the hell do you pronounce that? Zarathustra 86.
Something like that. I don't know.
So on creepypasta.wiki.com/wiki/playing_with_the_wolf. That is the one and only time I'm going to do that. So I will be playing the part of the wolf, and Mr. Danger Gerbil will be Mrs. Danger Gerbil to be.
I'll be Mrs. I'm not married. I'll have you know I'm not married.
Sorry, Ms.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Right, shall we get started with it anyway? Let's get that image up.
Okie dokie. Grandma, are you home?
The image, man. The image, damn you.
The image? Oh.
The image, yes. Get the bloody image up. Live, folks. Live stuff.
There you go. Live streaming. We always get it wrong. There you go. Have an image.
Okay, right. So,
do you want me to start again then?
Yeah, let's start again.
Grandma, are you home?
Come in, dear, I said, doing my best to sound like an old woman. I watched my beloved prey enter through the door, her delicious body concealed by her lovely red hood. Soon, my little darling, I would finally have you all to myself. She walks by me and places her basket on a table in front of a fireplace. My mouth begins to water as my stomach growls. She's a lovely little girl with pale skin and black hair, just the way I like them. These kinds of girls were always my favourite to pick on, and were so easy to manipulate. I have hunted so many young girls before. I've stalked blonde nobles, red-headed farm girls, and even a few brown-haired church girls. With that said, none of them were quite like her. This one was by far the most beautiful of my prey, and she was also, without a doubt, the most naive.
Are you feeling better yet, Grandma?
The way how she called me Grandma was so cute. It made it even harder for me not to laugh. Oh, I'm afraid not, my dear, I said, keeping my voice low and doing my best to sound sick. I couldn't wait to feel her soft flesh ripped apart by my sharp teeth. I can already taste her inside my mouth. For a long time now, this moment was all I could think of. I've been planning this for the last few months, after all. I spent all my time studying her as she would walk through my woods. I could have easily have gotten her any time, but where's the fun in that? I love to play with my prey, and I enjoy a good game too. Thankfully, she isn't a very bright girl. When I had greeted her earlier, I was actually able to get her to tell me where Grandma's house is. She made this all too easy for me. Seeing her stupidity only made me want to play with her even more. I wanted to see how far I could take this before I would do to her as I did to all the others. I thought about some of my past prey and how I made them all scream. Each one of their dying cries within my jaws was like their own individual singing voice to me. What beautiful blood-curdling sound would this stupid girl make for me when I would jump her? She gives me a happy, innocent smile.
You know, I've been really looking forward to this day for some time now, Grandma.
So have I, my dear. I've been looking forward to ripping your lovely little throat out, you stupid whore. So have I.
I brought you some pie. Would you like some?
No thanks, my dear. It's not the pie I'll be eating up soon. Why don't you just come a little closer to me? Oh, sorry, it's me again, isn't it? This is it. She's coming over to sit with me, and now we can spend our last moments with each other. Wow. Me and her in this bed together. I can't believe that I'm this close to her at last. I can smell her sweet heavenly fragrance. I could kill the little idiot right now. No. Let me wait for a moment. I'm going to have a little more fun with her first. If only she knew how hard I'm trying to keep a straight face right now. Her own eyes grow a little wider, clearly a sign of curiosity.
Grandma, what big eyes you have.
My God, this is going to be the dumbest girl I've ever stalked. I admit it, I do have lovely eyes, but really? Surely can't tell me apart from our own grandmother? I think I'm going to be doing that old lady a favour by killing off such an ungrateful grandchild, but I'm not complaining at all. No, I only grow more eager as our moment of doom comes closer.
All the better. Oh, it's you.
Oh, the better to see you with, my dear. She's even starting to remove her lovely red hood to become more comfortable with me. The irony is so hilarious.
Grandma, what big ears you have.
Come to think of it, where is her grandma anyway? I was expecting to find the old crone here and was preparing to kill her too. Instead, I found the place completely empty. All the better to... Before I could finish my sentence, the girl suddenly swings her arm, pulling out something she had hidden behind her red clothing. Something large and heavy smacks into the side of my head. I hear a large thud, feel a burst of pain against my skull, and then I black out. Slowly, I open my eyes, and as my vision comes into focus, I can see her at the table. Her back is facing me, and I can tell from the windows that night has fallen. The fireplace now burning, creating a dim atmosphere to the room. There was now a large pot boiling up something over the fire. My head was still throbbing with pain from whatever it was that hit me. I'm still lying on the bed with my head and left front paw hanging off the edge. I can see, lying on the floor, a large steel hammer. Did she hit me with that? Oh, that little tramp was going to get it now. I tried to get up to attack her, but something's horribly wrong. I can't move. My body feels so numb and I can barely even shake. What's going on? As I tried to move, I start to feel intense pain all over me. I tried to scream, but my jaws are tied shut. All I'm able to do is give a weak whimper. I can see my prey turning around to face me. She had made herself some kind of stew that has a very familiar smell to it. She walks over to me now with a bowl and a spoon. A wide grin is stretched across her pretty face, and she begins to laugh at me. A sick feeling overtakes me as I start breathing heavily and start to tremble.
Did you really think I was that dumb?
Her icy voice is clearly amused by my discomfort. Something about that sends a shiver up my spine.
This isn't Grandma's house. You stupid dog. It's mine.
She gets down on her knees so that her soulless eyes can look right into my own. With one hand she held her bowl, and the other she began to pet my head. Her touch made my skin want to crawl.
You see, sir, I wanted you to follow me. I was hungry too.
With those words, I suddenly realized why I can't move. I turn my head back to look down at my own body. Oh my God, I only have one limb left. I begin to scream through my muzzle and shake violently, not caring about the pain anymore. The girl just let loose a playful little laugh at my misery.
Grandma, please calm down. You need to rest if you want to feel better.
She was calmly eating her stew as I started to cry. My tear-filled eyes darted around the room in pure panic. At first I didn't notice it because of the lightning, but now I could see the red was everywhere. The whole room was now stained in red. She went back to the table and put her stew down. I now began to recognize the scent that's coming from it as my own. She slowly picks up a large butcher's knife and turns her gaze back to me. I try shouting at her. Even if I'm unable to speak, even if I can't get the words out, I desperately try to say something, a threat, a plea for forgiveness, a bargain, anything to stop this. But nothing is coming out but a few moaning sounds. My prey is slowly walking back to me, humming a cheerful tune as she does. In my mind, I'm screaming, "Stay away from me! I'm sorry! Please, Let me go. Somehow I get the feeling that even if I could say any of these things, it would make little difference anyway. God help me, now she's standing over me.
I'm still hungry. I think I'll help myself to some more if you don't mind.
She grabs my last paw so tight I can feel her fingers digging into my flesh. I frantically try to break away from her cold grip while I let loose a blood-curdling sound the whole time. She just kept smiling as she slowly brought the blade down on me. Oh, that was fun. Yes, right. Let's see what we're going to be doing next. I don't think I've had any comments yet so far. Welcome to the stream, anyone who has joined us. We have 7 viewers right now. Please feel free to suggest any creepypastas you like to us. If you do suggest them, please do put a link into your comments so that we can find it a lot more easily. We're going to be doing another random one at the moment. So
I can't see any comments at the moment myself here.
No, we're okay, but that's all right, because I know for a fact that people might not join us straight away because we've only been at this for 10 minutes so far. We've got another 50 minutes left to go. That's the one.
God help us.
50 bloody minutes, that's the one.
They will be bloody as well.
So what did you think of that story, Jeff?
It wasn't too bad. A bit of a twist on the usual Little Red Riding Hood.
It was, actually. It was a big twist on it.
There was a point in there where she was saying she was struggling to stop laughing or something, and it's like, I was struggling to stop laughing myself at some of the phrases, but still.
Yeah, that does happen. Yeah, I'm hoping this will work out. Say something.
Something?
There we go. Now just going back and forth between our ones. So, yeah, that should be fine. That should be fine. Right, so we should both be able to talk, and it will just switch between our screens just now.
Yeah, okie dokie.
Right, so let's find another one. Jeff, if you just want to go and you hit the button that says random until you find one.
I would if the creepypasta window hadn't frozen.
It's frozen, has it? Damn it.
There we go. Stop script. What script's trying to run on it?
I don't know.
No,
the background thing, that Penny Dreadful advert.
Could well be. Go away. Frozen completely.
Yeah, so welcome to the stream, everyone. I'm glad you could make it, if you have indeed made it. And yeah, we're looking for comments and things like that. So it's Halloween, happy Halloween, etc., etc. Now, as you guys probably know, that Jeff and I don't really have a shitload of money, so we don't have a big studio. So I am basically doing this in my bedroom, and Jeff is trapped inside my monitor.
Yep. Well, not your monitor. Well, I am a bit in your monitor, but I'm sort of displaying through the computer onto your monitor.
Yeah. Just unfortunate we could only do a small slice of you.
Yeah, I don't quite fit.
Yeah,
not worked.
Things. Yeah,
chop my ears off.
Chop your ears off. So,
and I still can't get rid of this bloody window.
So we've got we seem to have what's going on? Something's going on. Nothing's going on. I don't know what's going on.
No, I don't know what's going on either. Aha, it's gone.
What's gone? We've had a couple of thumbs down, but we've had quite a few thumbs up.
Oh dear, a couple of thumbs down, right.
But that's cool, because that means we get applause and things like that, so people will applaud our efforts and things like that. So, right, let's find another story, shall we?
It will do when things catch up. Ah, there we go. That's better. Back to normal now, I think.
So, just share the story with me, my man.
No, you want the random, don't you?
Yes.
Open up the page.
Opening up the page, man.
Random pasta.
Yes, there's actually
or tagliatelle.
Let's go for that one.
Goes quite well with the last one, actually.
Yes, a little bit of a munchy, eaty one.
Where shall I share it with you? In the chat link?
Yeah, just share it with me in the WeChat thing.
There you go.
Thank you. Right. Okay, I'll get that page up. Oh, it's a little poem. Okay.
Looks like it.
Have you got a wee thumbnail for us for it?
I will find one for you if you just bear with me a second.
I'll bear with you, no problem. So, guys, talk to us all and let us know what you're thinking of the stream so far. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it perfectly frightening? Give us some stories to read out.
Frightening, couldn't it?
Yes.
I know, it depends. Sometimes it's frightening, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not.
That's true. For some reason, comments are disabled on the video for... That's weird. Why are they disabled on my thingy?
Don't know.
On YouTube. They shouldn't be disabled on YouTube. Let's enable them. Where are they? Advanced settings.
That'll be why we're not getting any comments then.
Yeah, probably.
If they've been disabled, that would have something to do with it.
Which, allow comments. Yeah, it's allow comments. Everything's fine. Should be allowing comments. Yeah, should be doing.
So who is reading this one? Are we taking like a verse in turns, or?
Well, you can read this one out.
I'll read this one, shall I? Okay.
Yes.
Well, let us just get a nice background for you.
Okay.
How be that?
I can't see you. That's perfect. That's lovely.
I went into the woods today, just for a pleasant stroll. No one was there to my dismay, not even one lone soul. I went into the woods today, for the trees blocked out the light. For peace, 'twas a small price to pay, to lose the gift of sight. I went into the woods today, I felt a sense of dread. Afraid of what? I could not say. I could not go ahead. I went into the woods today, the shadows closing in. Trapped in by convoluting grey, plaguing my pale skin. I went into the woods today. Something moved up ahead. I quickly turned to back away. The path seemed to stop dead. I went into the woods today. I cannot see the end. How do I get out? Where? Which way? My vision starts to bend. Where am I going? I can't see. My courage is unfounded. My conscious mind is flying free. My body meets the ground. The woods around me never end, a ceaseless sea of sepia. With some green and yellow and red, I feel sleepier. I feel something is dragging me. My back and my bottom hurt. I dare not look upwards and see whatever holds my shirt. I try to scream, help, I declare. I try to wriggle free. But all the while, far too scared to crane my neck and see. Now it's let go, and I just run, my legs slower than time. And soon enough, I'm caught and spun as it extends its spine. It's 8 feet tall quite easily, its skin is black as night. It spreads my mouth wide evilly, my body's full of fright. It stares down with its soulless eyes, and I can breathe no more. My parents filled me with their lies. No friends behind the door. It grabs me with its skinny hand. Again, I'm being hauled. My lungs quickly shrink and expand in fear of the beast tall. I went into the woods today. I found a pretty spot. And when I turned to walk away, I found I could not. I went into the woods today, and then I heard a shout. That sounded quite like me, I say. I did not come back out.
Oh. Well done. That was a good one.
It's good if you don't mind spiders. If you hate spiders, then yeah.
Yeah, that
Sorry for you, really.
That would probably not be for us if it was a majorly big spidery one.
Have you managed to fix the comments yet?
No, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. This is one of those things. The next story I seem to have came out with seems to be all in Spanish, so I'm not going to be doing that one.
Probably not that one because, well, we might have some Spanish viewers, but whether you could read Spanish or not.
Yeah, I'm not very good at speaking Spanish, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Okay. Right. Oh, I found one.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. This one is called What Lurks Behind You, and I'm just going to share this with Jeff so he can get a wee bit of an image going for it.
I can try.
Okay, here we go. In fact, the image we've already got might actually be okay.
Oh, well, I'm back to me at the moment, so you'll have to wait a while. What is it? What lurks behind you?
Yep. There's a little, I've just noticed in the YouTube section there is a little button that says be part of the conversation. Click here to join the audience for the Hangout. I'm quite surprised there hasn't been any comments yet. So, you know, I hope you guys do join in with the comments. I know that Keith is watching us, Keith Hunt. I'm hoping Industrial Angel will actually be watching us as well. I know you're watching us, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm sort of there somewhere.
Got some sort of Inception thing going on. I'm just going to type myself something in the comments.
Some weird wiggly thing.
I'm just going to type something into the comments. Hi, folks. What should we read next? Let's see if that pops up in the comments. If it does, at least we know they're working.
If it does, yeah, then you'll at least know it's there.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got the story up, so I'm going to start reading this one just now. If there are any voices, please feel free to join in, Jeff.
Okie dokie. I shall give you an image.
Okay. Yep, the comments are working. It just popped up there.
I shall have that image for you.
Thank you, my man. Right, here we go. There once was an old man who lived alone in a 3-story house. It had hardwood floors and a huge kitchen. He was a friendly man, and most of the people in town knew him as a friendly, polite man. One day, though, he mysteriously went missing. It is said that if you went inside the house, you would hear footsteps and moans. Many teens went into the house on dares, most of who entered were never heard from again. Those who did get out, never spoke of the experience. Wow, I keep forgetting to switch that off. Right, hang on. A few months ago, I was dared to go inside and stay the night in the house. I am not one to refuse dares. I went in, as I was entering, I heard my friends screaming out.
Oh, sort of line I didn't see, sorry.
Yes.
Screaming out, "Don't die on us!"
I wasn't afraid, though. When I got in, it was already about 7 p.m. and it was dark outside. Only 11 hours left, I said to myself, looking for a light switch. When I finally found one, I flicked it a few times. It wasn't working, so I had a seat on the floor. I was in the living room of the house. It was about 3 a.m. now. I heard a noise come from the 3rd floor. Naturally, I went to check it out. When I got there, I saw nothing. I mumbled. Just then, I heard a whisper in a raspy voice.
What lurks in the soul?
I was going to do that one. Okay, you can do that one. I'm not one to get scared a lot, but this time it was different. I started getting chills. I ran down the stairs to see a man with a knife. He slowly turned around and screamed at me.
What lurks behind you?
There we go. I hastily turned and ran into a closet. I felt something wet on my head. I looked up to see the mangled body of the teens that came before me. A rotting smell filled the tiny closet. I stopped myself from screaming. One of the dismembered corpses moved his head and softly said in an evil, almost funny voice.
I keep losing myself. What lurks behind the soul?
I burst out of the closet, running for the door. As soon as I got there, I tried opening the door, but it wouldn't budge. I screamed and hollered for help. I blacked out after that. When morning finally came, my friends found me in the house, blood dripping from one of my eyes. I had jabbed a knife through it. They said that was all I was saying was...
What lurks behind you is evil, and looks behind you is death.
Okay. That was a weird one. It was kind of broken up because neither of us could figure out who the hell was what. That was my fault. But that's the thing about doing...
Doesn't matter. But we do have a suggestion for another one.
We do we? Awesome.
Yes, we do, from Nerd and a Noob. He recommends The Rake and has given us the link.
Nice one. Well, let's check that out. Let's see. There's no chat when you open the stream. There's chat right there. See? You're already on it, Sharifu. I can see you, Sharifu. All right, so let's get this. The Rake. I'm pretty sure this was one of the first stories I ever read, but I've never done it live before. I've got the hiccups now. That's brilliant. I love getting the hiccups. Hiccups are awesome. Right, The Rake. So, you do the voices again, and I'll do the narration.
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay. Now, the good thing about live stuff is the pure fact that we just don't know what's going to happen. We might get stuff wrong, and that's what happens when
especially with some of them with the way they're written as well.
Of course. I mean, see when I'm reading any creepypastas on a Sunday when I do my Storytime Sunday things, there's a lot of editing has to get done because sometimes I read things literally, and some of the words are not what they should be, and some of the punctuation leaves a lot to be desired. So we're going to be doing The Rake, as suggested by Nerd and a Noob. Who was actually live streaming last night and doing Bloodborne on his PlayStation 4, which was actually quite cool. So, yes. Hello, Shari Fru. Welcome.
Hello, Shari.
Welcome. Right, you've got it up, yeah?
Yeah, there's already an image up.
Okay, let's get that image on the main screen. Here we go. Right, time to narrate. You do have the chat. You're talking just now. I can see you. You can see you right there. During the summer of 2003, events in the northeastern United States involving a strange human-like creature sparked brief local media interest before an apparent blackout was enacted. Little or no information was left intact, as most online written accounts of the creature were mysteriously destroyed. Primarily focused in rural New York State and once found in Idaho. I couldn't even say that. Rural New York, it's so difficult. Self-proclaimed witnesses told stories of their encounters with a creature of unknown origin. Emotions ranged from extremely traumatic levels of fright and discomfort to an almost childlike sense of playfulness and curiosity. While their published versions are no longer on record, the memories remain powerful. Several of the involved parties began to look for answers that year. In early 2006, a collaboration had accumulated nearly 24 documents dating between the 12th century and present day, spanning 4 continents. In almost all cases, the stories were identical. I've been in contact with a member of the group and was able to get some experts from their upcoming book. A Suicide Note, 1964.
As I prepare to take my life, I feel it necessary to assuage any guilt or pain I have introduced through this act. It is not the fault of anyone other than him. For once I awoke and felt his presence, and once I awoke and saw his form. Once again I awoke and heard his voice, and looked into his eyes. I cannot sleep without the fear of what I might next wake to experience. I cannot ever wake. Goodbye.
Found in the same wooden box were 2 empty envelopes addressed to William and Rose, but 1 loose personal letter with no envelope.
Dearest Linny, I have prayed for you. He spoke your name.
A journal entry, translated from Spanish in 1880.
I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I see his eyes when I close mine. They are hollow, black. They saw me and pierced me. His wet hand, I will not sleep. His voice. Blah, 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 blah.
A Mariner's Log, 1691.
He came to me in my sleep. From the foot of my bed I felt the sensation. He took everything. We must return to England. We shall not return here at the request of the rake.
From a witness in 2006.
3 years ago, I had just returned from a trip to Niagara Falls with my family for the 4th of July. We were all very exhausted after a long day of driving, so my husband and I put the kids right to bed, and I called it a night. At about 4 a.m. I woke up, thinking my husband had gotten us to use the restroom. I used a moment to steal back the sheets, only to wake him in the process. I apologized and told him I thought I got out of bed. When he turned to face me, he gasped and pulled his feet up from the end of the bed so quickly, his knee almost knocked me out the bed, and he grabbed me and said nothing. After adjusting to the dark for half a second, I was able to see what caused his strange reaction. At the foot of the bed, sitting and facing away from us, there was what appeared to be a naked man, or a large, hairless dog of some sort. Its body position was disturbing and unnatural, as if it had been hit by a car or something. For some reason, I was not instantly frightened by it, but more concerned as to its condition. At this point, I was somewhat under the assumption that we were supposed to help him. My husband was peering over his arm and knee, tucked into the fetal position, occasionally glancing at me before returning to the creature. A flurry of motion. The creature scrambled around the side of the bed, and he crawled quickly in a flailing sort of motion right along the bed until there was foot of my husband's face. The creature was completely silent for about 30 seconds, or probably close to 5. It just seemed like a while, just looking at my husband. The creature then placed its hand on his knee and ran into the hallway, leading to the kids' rooms. I screamed and ran for the light switch, planning to stop him before he hurt my children. When I got to the hallway, the light from the bedroom was enough to see it, crouched and hunched over about 20 feet away. He turned around and looked directly at me, covered in blood. I flipped the switch on the wall and saw my daughter, Clara. The creature ran down the stairs while my husband and I rushed to help our daughter. She was very badly injured and spoke only once in her short life. She said, "He is the rake." My husband drove his car into the lake that night while rushing our daughter to hospital. They did not survive. Being in a small town, news got around pretty quickly. The police were helpful at first, and the local newspaper took a lot of interest in us. However, the story was never published, and the local television news never followed up either. For several months, my son Justin and I stayed in a hotel near my parents' house. After we decided to return home, I began looking for answers myself. I eventually located a man in the next town over who had a similar story. We got in contact and began talking about our experiences. He knew of 2 other people in New York who had seen the creature we now referred to as the rake. It took the 4 of us about 2 solid years of hunting on the internet and writing letters to come up with a small collection of what we believed to be the accounts of the rake. None of them gave any details, history, or follow-up. One journal had an entry involving a creature in its first 3 pages and never mentioned it again. A ship's log explained nothing of the encounter, saying that they was only told to leave by the rake, and that was the last entry in the log. There were, however, many instances where the creature's visit was one of a series of visits with the same person. Multiple people also mentioned being spoken to, my daughter included. This led us to wonder if the rake had been visited by any of us before our last encounter. I set up a digital recorder near my bed and left it running all night, every night, for 2 weeks. I would tediously scan through the sounds of me rolling around in the bed each day when I woke up. By the end of the 2nd week, I was quite used to the occasional sound of sleep while blurring through the recording at 8 times the normal speed. Still took almost an hour every day. On the first day of the 3rd week, I thought I heard something different. What I found was a shrill voice. It was the rake. I can't listen to it long enough to even begin to transcribe it. I haven't let anyone listen to it yet. All I know is that I've heard it before, and I now believe it spoke to me when it was sitting in front of my husband. I don't remember hearing anything at the time, but for some reason, the voice on the recorder immediately brings me back to that moment. The thoughts must have gone through my daughter's head, make me very upset. I have not seen the rake since he ruined my life, but I know he has been in my room while I slept. I know and fear that one night I'll wake up and he'll be staring at me.
That was awesome. I did not expect you to have to read out quite that much there, though, Jeff.
No, was I. That was just a little bit longer than I was expecting.
Yeah. Shai's been mentioning that if you want to watch the video, you can't chat, but if you want to chat, you can't watch the video. I don't know what's going on with that. YouTube has been messing about with the Google Hangouts thing for a while, and this is my first one in a long time that I've done, so it used to be very, very easy. You used to just click the button and people could join in and comment on YouTube and stuff like that, so we'll just have to wait and see how that one works out. Meh. But I hope you guys are enjoying the stories anyway. Let's see. We've got Pom Pom World has joined us just now. Of course, Shai's watching, and Nerd and Nib. We hope you enjoyed your story being read out. Please do let us know if there are any other stories you want us to read out. I'm just going to go and hit the random button and see what the next one is going to be.
Okay.
I've been watching too much Mario Maker. All I've got is that theme tune in my head.
Oh dear, you don't want to get that one stuck in your head too much, do you?
Definitely not, no.
So what is the next one called?
Okay, the next one is called The Companion.
Oh, what sort of companion?
I don't know. It seems to have a piano in it. I don't know why. There is the link to the story.
Okay. That's an unusual sort of magician's companion. I've never heard of a piano, but still.
Yeah, there's a shadowy shape in the image of someone playing the piano. That's quite all right, Nerd and a Noob. What can we call you other than Nerd and a Noob? Yeah, it works in your PC. Well done, Pom Pom World. Awesome. So we're going to get an image up, and then we're going to start reading this story. Oh, the ghostly visages. Yes.
There you go.
Fantastic. Let me have a look. See. There we are. Lovely image. Here we go.
Ghostly girl at a piano.
Ghostly girlie at a piano. So this is The Companion. I've never read this story before in my life, so this is going to be quite good fun to check out. You guys ready? You ready, Jeff?
I would be if I hadn't frozen again, but I'll catch you up when it catches up.
Okay. There prevails a melody that whispers within the frigid breeze of a town that disappeared long ago. Since almost all the people there didn't have much of a story to begin with, I'm going to describe the story that led to the end of the people in the town. Present in the absence of light, there was a beautiful woman, although she never left the darkness of her house. People claimed that she was the most beautiful woman in town. Her pink-coloured lips would always curve to form a pretty smile, while her chocolate eyes stared at the birds that sang in the forest near her house. At times, she would go up the stairs to a crystal room where she could see everything that surrounded her house. There lay a piano with ivory keys and a leather bench where she would sit and play for hours. Her delicate and skinny hands would always play a melody in that piano. Curious as it may sound, she always played accompaniments, but no one ever played with her. At intervals, she would stop playing to lift her hand and turn the pages of the score she was playing. After that, she would smile and return to play like she was trying to memorize the entire score. She only did this 6 days a week, never on Sunday. When it was Sunday, before playing the piano, she would put on a beautiful scarlet dress. She combed her jet black hair back, which fell delicately on her back like a silk cascade. Finally, she wore a silver necklace with a pure white pearl hanging in the middle. After getting ready, she would go upstairs to the crystal room at 8 p.m. and would sit on a bench to play the piano until midnight. Whenever the clock struck 12, she would always make one simple and silly mistake in her melody. When this happened, she would automatically stop playing and freeze as if she had done something so horrible, so unbelievable. She couldn't afford to understand at that time. So she stood, unmoving, with that scared expression in her eyes and twisted smile that said, "It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay." At the dawn of the new day, she would no longer be in the crystal room. Instead, she would be in her bathtub, taking a shower. A man who stood observing her noticed that after she froze and remained unmoving, when the light of the sunrise slightly struck her house, at the touch of the light, her unmoving body would vanish like mist. The man went to the townspeople and told of what he saw. Doubtful, some people began to look for her, curious if what the man saw was real or merely a lie. Since it was the most interesting thing in the town at that time, a large number of people took interest in the matter. However, no matter how much the people looked for her, she did not step outside her house for even a second, nor did she allow anyone in. Everybody was curious about the mysterious dame that played in the crystal room, but nobody had even a clue of who or what she really was. As the rumour spread through the entire town, she kept on gently touching the ivory keys in her piano, playing the only song she had played for so long. A 14-year-old boy named James Cardigan, who kept immersed in his own little world, heard the rumour almost by coincidence, and directly as he heard, he went, almost running, to investigate the mysterious matter. First, he mounted on his bicycle and searched the whole town for the house with the crystal room, but as expected, he found nothing. I can hear you typing, Jeff.
Hmm?
I can hear you typing.
Sorry.
Sorry. Tired of all the exercise he had done, and because he was a little overweight, he tried what he had never done before, to ask someone. Since his social skills didn't really work, he spent 2 hours trying to ask a simple question, and when he finally succeeded to ask, the answer was, among the woods. Yeah. James went into the old woods and found a little white fence that led to the woman's house. To his surprise, the house looked kind of new. In fact, it didn't look strange, which was what he was expecting. He heard the melody that the woman was playing, somewhat sad, beautiful, combined with the dreadful wind and smell of the dried roses of her dead garden. He knew she wouldn't let him in, so he, instead of knocking at the door, tried to figure out how to keep an eye on her. The next day, he brought with him a camera and a laptop. He climbed onto a tree and tied the camera to a branch in the direction of the crystal room. After that, he connected his laptop to the camera and went home. Since the camera required sunlight to charge, the batteries would not be a problem, because he left the camera in a place where the sunlight reached perfectly. and he could watch every move she made from the safety of his room. He watched every move she made in the crystal room, watching carefully as she struck gently the ivory keys of her beloved piano. From Monday to Saturday, she wore her usual clothes, studied very calmly and secure about what she was doing. Then, when she flipped the pages of the score, James noticed something that made him feel chills on his back. The score was completely blank. James immersed himself more in the woman, curious to death to know her. He found out what the man saw was completely true. She vanished into thin air the moment the sunlight strokes on the Monday's dawn, and that she froze after making a mistake on Sunday at midnight, even though when she studied she never made a single mistake at all. Listening to the song she was playing, he recognized it from somewhere, and suddenly remembered that his childhood friend Ali had learned a song a few days ago, and that what the woman was playing was the accompaniment for that song. He went to Ali's house and told her about the dame in the crystal room. She didn't seem as excited as he was, but she took a bit of an interest because he was her friend anyway. The next Sunday, he and Ali went to the house in the forest. He brought her violin and James brought a microphone. Before the lady began to play, Ali told this to James.
She used to be perfect, you know.
Yep. My teacher's, it's still you, I think. It's still you.
No. She used to be perfect, you know. My teacher's son, Michael, and her were like brother and sister. Even if they used to be not related at all, she was a perfectionist. She just couldn't afford to make a mistake. One day, she made a mistake. She just went nuts and attacked everyone she had contact with. Her mother brought her to the doctor, and she discovered she had multiple personality disorder. She had 2 different personalities. The good one, which was perfect, and the bad one, which made mistakes and attacked people. They gave her medicine, and little by little she suppressed her second personality, allowing her to have a normal life. Then, an unfortunate day, the medications were not enough to suppress her second identity, and she killed her mother and father with her bare hands. After that, she began to be afraid of the other self, and took really strong medication to make it disappear. When she was 24, she bought this house in the middle of the forest with the crystal room. She thought she'd gotten over her second personality and that it would never happen again. Michael, my teacher's son, was her best friend, and to commemorate her welcome to the new house, he would give her a violin concert in the crystal room. And yes, of course, she would accompany him on the piano. This made her so happy, she studied for 6 days in a row to memorize the entire score to surprise Michael. Then Sunday night at 8 p.m, she wore a satin dress and a pearl necklace. The concert was about to begin, and it would end at 1 a.m. It was a beautiful winter night until the clouds covered the black skies. It was 11:59, and the hail started to fall. The hail broke the ceiling of the crystal room, and pieces of sharp crystal began falling onto the guests. It was at midnight that Eileen made the mistake. Everyone was running for their lives, but she just sat frozen in fear in the leather bench. She thought that her second personality had come once again, so she immobilized with fear while the guests were getting massacred by the falling crystal. Michael was coming to save her, but a piece of crystal fell onto his head and killed him instantly, covering her white satin dress in scarlet blood. When the guests were all dead, one last piece of crystal fell and killed her. The score she cherished so much flew to the wind, leaving only white pages on her piano. This I know since my teacher told me everything at the son's funeral 6 years ago.
James stood there with a stunned expression, trying to say, why didn't you tell me that earlier? Ali just smiled and said,
Because I was waiting for the most unexpected moment. Duh.
The woman, Eileen, started to play the accompaniment, and Ali started to play her violin. Eileen just kept going on, like if she hadn't noticed there was someone playing the violin outside her house. They kept on playing until the clock struck midnight and Eileen made the mistake. Ali kept going on, even though Eileen had made the mistake. Then something happened. Eileen made a twisted and broken smile and continued playing. This time she started to make even more mistakes until the piano's melody was totally broken into cruel shreds. Shreds? Shreds! When the clock struck 1 a.m. on Monday, the concert came to an end. The ghost of Eileen smiled at the kids and vanished with the moonlight. After she vanished, the house recovered the state in which it should have been. The crystal on the crystal room was broken and the walls were covered in dry blood. The families of the people who died at the concert took the bodies and gave them a proper burial. All the bodies were removed from there except one, Eileen's body, since her family was already 2 meters under the ground. There she sat, with her white satin blood-covered dress, in the leather bench in front of the piano with the ivory keys that were stained with her own blood. And who could ever forget the only white thing that was left of her, her silver necklace with the pure white pearl hanging in the middle. When James and Ali returned from the forest, they witnessed with their own eyes the river of blood passing through the town. Everyone in town, except James and Ali, had died of a variety of profound and severe cuts that looked like they were done by crystal shreds. They found out the moment she started to play that macabre and abnormal accompaniment after making the first mistake, the people in the town were brutally dying one by one until they were the only ones left. Ali and James moved from the town and went to an orphanage, since their families had died in the accident too. Luckily, the ghost had disappeared, right? One day, James and Ali were in the music room of their new school. Ali was practicing with her violin and James was drinking grape juice. When Ali finished practicing, the piano started to play a particular known melody to both of them that stopped with a mistake. Ali dropped her violin and James spit the grape juice in sign of terror. They both looked at the piano and saw a girl sitting there. She smiled at them and they sighed relief to see that she was just a normal girl. The three of them started to laugh. It's funny. You thought the girl was the lady from the crystal room? No. She vanished, right? But you have to appreciate that the girl's silver necklace with a pure white pearl hanging on the middle. It's really pretty.
Oh, spooky.
Spooky, spooky story. Oh, right, so next story is your choice, Jeff, since no one has actually mentioned
I don't have any more suggestions, so I shall do a random again and see what we get.
Yep, I think we'll have time for one more story after this one.
It depends on the length of it, but yeah.
Yep.
This CreepyPasta site doesn't like loading things quickly.
They never do. They never like loading stuff quickly. So I hope you can, like I said,
adverts on the pages.
Yeah. I do hope you guys have been enjoying this so far. It's not often that I'll be doing stuff like this where I do live readings. It's kind of complicated and awkward, but you know, I like doing live stuff. Just I'm just not brilliant with this kind of thing because you know I'm not good at planning ahead. We had a message there from Nerd and Noob says just call him Logan.
Yes, I saw that come through, but I didn't want to interrupt your reading, so... That's
all right. Shari Fu says, I had to split my screen in two. That rhymes, though, doesn't it? Pom Pom World has to comment using my iPad. On YouTube, it says comments is disabled for the video. I don't understand why that's happened. It's just one of those weird things.
Okay, I've just sent you a link to the next story.
Yep,
I am the Abyss.
We do need creepy music in the background to enhance the stories, but I don't know how that would work with this. So
yeah.
Once you've got an image ready, Jeff, we can begin.
Yeah, the image is ready. 1 second.
Yeah.
I should just share it. There we go. I shall read, I am the Abyss.
Okay, now I'll keep my mouth shut.
Well, unless there's any speech from other people.
Of course.
But since we're doing these randomly, who knows?
There.
Anyway, hello. You've heard of it, right? You hear the creaks and things that go bump in the night. Well, that's not me. That's your imagination. You're afraid of the monster in the closet and the creature under the bed, right? Well, that's not me. That's your imagination. You felt that situation, that feeling that someone is watching you, that someone's on the other side of the door, or that someone is staring at you through the window. Well, that's not me. That's your imagination. You seriously think that I'm tall, slender, faceless entity with tentacles protruding from his back? Well, that's not me. That's your imagination. You really think that I'm some serial killer with lifeless eyes, a horrifying smile, raven black hair, and a blood-stained sweater? Well, that's not me. That's your imagination. You probably imagine that I'm the creature in the corner of your room. You know, the one that watched you sleep sleep every night, and the one that desires sacrifices from you, the one that wants your flesh. Well, that's not me. That's your imagination. I think I'm a monster. You think I'm a killer. You think I'm a ghost. You think I'm a demon. You think I'm the shadows. You think I'm an alien. You think I'm a creature. You think I'm alive. You think I'm dead. You think I'm simulated. Well, that's not me. That is what it is. The truth is that I'm not really watching you. But it's funny that I feel right now, be it fear, joy, despair, hatred, or emptiness. I have felt for a long time. Since the moment you were born, I've known you better than anyone. I'm in your dreams and nightmares. You can't see me because I'm not really there. Are you something to fear or to be drawn to? I'm not something of good or evil. I am not something of light or dark. Fuck, I'm not even alive or dead. I'm not even saying these words. I'm just imagining them. Yet I have no imagination or mind. I talk without a mouth. I see without eyes. I move without a body. Yet you're still there. Staring at your computer, listening to yourself talk. It's strange, isn't it? Well, I just want to let you know, my sweet, sweet embrace, that I've been inside of you for a long time. Yet I do not control you, and you do not control me, because we are the same entity. We're exactly the same thing. Don't you get it? I am the one who damns you. Nightmares. The one who blesses your dreams. The one who is your emotions. The one who is your mind. I am you. Please do not fear me, though, for I am watching you. I am nothing but pure blackness, a dreaded abyss. Mindless, bodiless, emotionless, spiritless, shapeless, nothingness.
That was a mildly amusing story, actually.
It was, yeah. It started off like a poem one again. I'm thinking, oh god, I've managed to randomly pick another poem, and then
you're kind of sort of doing that quite a lot. Is picking up poetry. It's bizarre. Oh no, I like that. It's like I am this, I am that, but that's not me. That's just your imagination.
That's just your yeah. That's quite a good one, actually. Yeah,
I quite enjoyed that. That was a good one. That was actually quite a funky story. We haven't had any suggestions, so we'll just do another random one. We've got 10 minutes of the stream left over, so we'll just go for one here. Because I'm trying to get one that's not too long. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah. Not with only 10 minutes left. You don't want one that's going to go on for like half an hour.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't
there are quite a few
Doctor Who now, can we?
Well, that's true. That's true. Right, here we go. This is the next story. I don't know if there's an image for it though, Jeff. So
have a look. If not, I can always find one.
Oh, there is one. There is one. Oh my god, that is bizarre.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that is bizarre.
What the hell is that?
I'm not sure. It's kind of fucked up.
Oh no, that's the wrong thing. Go back.
Pom Pom World says if Joey were to hear the story, he'd stop buying so many crystals.
Give me nightmares, that is.
I'm guessing that was about the story about the crystal room and the piano, the companion.
Oh dear.
Right, here we go. I mean, what the hell is going on with that?
It's a man with a mirror for a head, I think.
Yeah, but what's is that his mouth meant to be?
Yeah, I guess his mouth and a little bit. He's got a little nose that's dangling down, or a little nose there, and then little eyes on top. It's
a tiny beard.
Oh, just like yours.
Yeah. Well, my beard's not that tiny. Anyway, Mirror Man. Hello there. My name is Jesse. I'd heard that this site is where people could submit the stories that were, well, creepy. I read a lot here. Most of the stories you would read about monsters, supernatural things, serial killers, and even haunted items. I've heard that most of these stories are actually true, but I never did believe it. I don't think stuff like that exists. Well, except for the serial killer part. My point is that I always thought these things were hoaxes and just that. That is until the Mirror Man. And you see, I go to high school in suburban Massachusetts. It's really what you would expect a normal high school to be, you know, regular classes, everyone has their own group of friends, you know, the usual stuff. No, the school isn't haunted, it wasn't built in a Native American burial ground, nothing like that. It's a completely normal school, but lately, let's say about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, a rumour had started floating around the school, but it wasn't a usual rumour of...
Who's cheating on who?
Or...
Who's pregnant?
No, this is more one of these urban myth rumors. Myth? You'd hear about the guy who started this rumor. Let's call him Tim. Now, you see, Tim was a well-known guy. He was that one guy in school that everyone liked, and one day he came in with an almost triumphant smirk on his face as if he'd been parading around. And one of my friends, Dan, had went up to him and asked what he was so happy about, and to which Tim responded,
I beat the Mirror Man.
as if it was, some sort of achievement, to which Dan asked,
Who is the Mirror Man?
basically, since I don't want to keep doing this, who said this, said what, said whatever thing, I myself will tell you who the Mirror Man is. The Mirror Man is the quote-unquote spirit who will appear if you say the words Mirror Man into a mirror 3 times when you're alone. Now, I know what you're thinking. Another one of those bogus mirror tricks, right? Well, we all tried the Bloody Mary thing when we were kids. We all found it was bullshit, and no ghosts would pop up, ultimately leaving us disappointed, but relieved at the same time that nothing was going to come out of the mirror and kill you. Now, at first, I thought the same thing about this. I mean, Tim must be pulling some sort of a prank or something, right? Our whole lunch table gave us fucking balls. Our whole lunch table gave him, that's one, our skeptic responses, in which he replied.
If you don't believe me, then why don't you try it for yourself?
A few of us nodded at each other and just said,
Okay.
and we went back to eating our lunches. The rest of the day was pretty normal after that. Went home, did my homework, and that was it. My mum and dad were away for the weekend business trip, so I was home alone. I didn't mind that because at least I still had my dog to keep me company. The time went on, and eventually it was night time. I just finished brushing my teeth in front of the mirror when that thought of the rumor came up in my head again. I figured I would do it only to prove that it was really nothing. I turned off the lights, I stood in front of the mirror, I took a deep breath, and I said the words.
Mirror Man, Mirror Man, Mirror Man.
I waited for what seemed like a good minute in the dark. Nothing happened. I knew it was fake from the start, so I smiled to myself and I went to bed, waiting to rub it in Tim's face. The morning came along with school that day. The first half went pretty normally, then it came to lunch. We were all there talking about what we usually do, and then came in Tim, only something was different. The usual aloof look on his face had faded into an expression of worry and deep thought. He was never like this before. He sat down slowly and we'd all asked him what was wrong. He was silent for a moment before saying,
I saw him again.
We asked who it was that he saw, eager to find out what was doing this to our friend, and he gave only a shaky reply.
The Mirror Man.
I rolled my eyes at this. I thought he was pulling some kind of stunt to get attention.
The Mirror Man isn't real. I tried it last night.
Tim turned to me and shouted at me.
He is real, and I saw him again last night. He's coming for me. He said he would.
This had caught the attention of the other tables in the area as well as the teachers. The entire cafeteria went silent as he shouted.
He's coming for me.
One of the better-known teachers had grabbed him by the shoulders and escorted him out of the cafeteria. What the fuck was going on here? Fast forward a few days later, the rumour of the Mirror Man had spread throughout the school onto the internet to everywhere locally. It had become a craze by the time my parents had gotten home from the trip. I'd told them everything. I'd still continued to do the Mirror Man trick every night, but no matter what I would do, I never saw the supposed spirit. However, many other people in the school had apparently seen him, even if they didn't do the mirror trick. They would just be staring at the reflection, fixing their hair, etc., and then out of nowhere the reflection would just distort into the Mirror Man. But why wouldn't he show up for me? I don't understand. It's frustrating me. Upon the morning of the last Monday, the entire school had been called to the auditorium. This would never happen unless something really good or really bad was going to happen. And with the recent news, I was sure as hell knew it wasn't the former. The principal of the school had stepped out with a grave look on his face. He walked up to the podium and Tim had died. The police found his body in his room after they broke down the door. I couldn't believe my ears. Was this really happening? No, it couldn't be. How did he die? Did he kill himself over this whole Mirror Man thing, or was something else going on here? Later that night, I had signed onto the school's website. The school had a chat system implemented where Students could contact other students about when the papers were due, help on projects and things like that. I was chatting with my friends and the other kids about the day's events. Then suddenly, a message popped up. Guest Mirror Man has logged into the chat room. I looked at the message for a few seconds. Was this some kind of fucking joke? Because nobody's laughing. He said nothing. When all the other students called him out, all he did was post a link to the picture in the chat. The moderator banned him immediately afterwards. I clicked on the link apart from my better judgment, and I wish I hadn't. What I saw in that picture will be sure to haunt me for the rest of my life. It was Tim, but it was his corpse, pale and lifeless. His jaw was hanging open as if he was screaming. There were dozens of shards of glass dug into his skin, including 2 larger ones that were stuck into his eyes. There was blood everywhere, and carved into his chest were 2 parallel lines, lined up vertically with an X, slowly overlapping them. I was appalled. I began to cry. He was a kid, for fuck's sake. Who did this to him? Why did they do this to him? Instinctively, the first thing I thought was, the Mirror Man. Was he really real? Did he really do this to Tim? All those questions buzzed in my head. I started feeling nauseous. I ripped the cord out of my computer, making the screen go blank, and I just cried. There. Over the next few days, things only got worse. More kids went missing, more ended up dead, and each time it was done, a picture of their corpse ended up on the school website under the screen name, Mirror Man. Eventually, I just stopped clicking. I knew what the picture was as well as everyone else did. The school was shut down by the police soon after that, and the FBI began questioning people. One thing kept my mind the entire time was, why couldn't I see the Mirror Man? I shouldn't even be asking this. I should just consider it a blessing and leave it alone, but I wanted to know why. So one final time I went into my bathroom. One final time I turned the lights off and I looked into the mirror, and one final time I said,
Mirror Man, Mirror Man, Mirror Man.
My voice grew shaky and unstable with each time. My mind was about to snap. I needed to know. And finally, I saw him. My reflection started to distort and was replaced by a man. He was wearing a pair of jeans and an olive green hooded sweatshirt, but his clothes were blood-stained. There were shards of glass sticking into him and impaling him like a fucking pincushion. His mouth was sewn shut, and I couldn't even see the rest of his face. But in his hand, there was a bloody shard of mirror. I was petrified. How does one react to a serial killer staring them down? I didn't think this could be real. It had to be some sort of fucked up dream or a hallucination or something. I took a step back from the mirror, my heart jumping in my ears. It was all I could hear. When surprisingly, he also took a step away. Being cautious, I took another step away, and so did he. Where I moved, he moved in perfect sync. It was as if I was looking in a mirror. I closed my eyes and shook my head. There I was again. Well, there was my face. But my clothes changed. I was wearing an olive green sweatshirt and jeans. There was a piece of bloodied mirror in my hand. I looked down. It was all true. There I was, wearing the exact same thing that the Mirror Man had just worn just a moment ago. No, this had to be another trick, I thought. The Mirror Man was fucking with my head. But then I saw a blood trail leading out the bathroom door. I reluctantly followed it and led to the door of my parents' bedroom. I kept whispering in a hushed tone as if I was pleading.
No, no.
Over and over again. I had slowly opened the door, and there were both my parents, broken shards of glass going through them, 2 through the eyes and 2 lines with the X on their bodies. I know the reason I couldn't see him. It's because I could always see him. I was the Mirror Man. I did all those horrible things. It was me. Well, what did you think of that story then, Jeff?
You're evil. You are a serial killer. That is what I think of that.
I beat people to death with a bag of Rice Krispies.
Only Rice Krispies, and they come in boxes, not bags.
Right, well, that is it for tonight, I'm afraid, boys and girls. I'm glad most of you could join us. I don't think everyone joined us. There was a lot of people said they would, but they never turned up. But that's normal. That usually happens. The stream will be put up as a video later on, I think, if everything's worked out the way it should have. If not, I will be doing some more stories tomorrow. So if this one doesn't work, I think I'll do the Mirror Man one again. I quite like that story. Possibly. We'll see. I might do that one you read.
On the YouTube section for some bizarre reason. Don't know what happened there, but...
No. seem to have gone a bit jittery by the looks of it. Anyway, right, thank you everybody for watching. Danger Gerbil, if you would like to say goodbyes and advertise yourself.
Goodbye. Advertise myself.
You can check him out as Danger Gerbil on YouTube. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.